Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Delta Airlines Flight 2998 bound for Atlanta, Georgia, with continued service to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. All carry-on items should now be stowed securely, either in an overhead bin or under the seat in front of you. All aisles, exits, and bulkhead areas should now be clear. All electronic devices should now be turned off and stowed, as they may interfere with the aircraft's navigational and Once again, welcome aboard Delta Flight 2928 to Atlanta, and thank you for flying Delta.
Ladies and gentlemen, your chances of dying in an airplane are 9 million to 1. But there is tremendous scrutiny that has to take place in getting on a plane that does not in fact manifest itself when you're getting in your car. When you are getting ready to get on a plane, ladies and gentlemen, they ask you to show ID. You'll notice that they only ask you for ID when you're getting ready to take off. But they never ask you for ID when you're about to land. Because when you come down, it doesn't matter who you are. But when you're getting ready to take off, it is important that you know who you're flying with. This has been a season, ladies and gentlemen, that God has just been checking what you are made out of. And there are some people who are not prepared to take off with you because they don't know who they are. If they knew who they were, they wouldn't be in your business. They wouldn't be worried about who you with. They wouldn't care who you dating. When I know who I am, I don't want to hear about other people. I just need to know that I got to keep my own focus and keep my own destiny, because there's more that God has in store for me. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what I need you to realize is that in spite of what it is that you've witnessed on CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, 95% of airplane crashes, hear me, produces survivors. You didn't know that 95% of airplanes that crash, there is somebody that walks away with their life intact. And it's hard for you to tell because you're sitting on a row with people who got on their church face and you've got no clue and no evidence that they've come through a crash. But you were sitting next to somebody who survived being laid off, survived having their heart broken, survived being in an unsupportive family, survived being stabbed in the back by phony friends, survive being hated on by church members, survive having their dreams short-circuited, survive going through pains and problems and sickness, divorce and diseases and death. But by looking at them, you've got no evidence of it because they're able to say, I walked away with no scratches. And you ought to just be shouting because folk got no idea what you had to walk away from, but you survived the crash. The FAA, ladies and gentlemen, has in fact recently released a publication that is now in circulation of what to do so that you can survive a plane crash. And ladies and gentlemen, they say to you, hear me, that your probability for survival goes up, hear me, by 40%, watch this, based off of where you sit on the plane. So if you sit in the back of the plane, you have a higher possibility of surviving. This is not for everybody. Some of you need to know you are not being punished. Some of you need to know God has placed you in the back because he was trying to protect you. He didn't want you seen and up front right now because he knew you were not prepared for the attack. And that's why some of you are getting blessed because you come to church and you ain't trying to be in the clique, you ain't trying to be in the circle, you ain't trying to be in Bishop's face, you just trying to get your word, mind your business, and go home. And God said, those of you who've been in the back of the line, your seat is about to change. I'm getting ready to shift you to the front of the line because I wanted to see if you would be faithful over a few things. It all depends on where you sit on the plane. Ladies and gentlemen, the stewardess comes and makes the announcement before the aircraft takes off. She says, watch this, in the unlikely event of an emergency landing. That's a code word for crash. In an unlikely event of an emergency landing, watch this, an oxygen mask will in fact drop from the ceiling. Apply it to yourself before you try to assist anybody else. This is just for 200 radical worshipers. God told me to tell you, in this season, I am giving you permission to be selfish. I am giving you season to take care of yourself. You've been doing everything for everybody else, but the Negroes didn't appreciate it. They didn't say thank you. You couldn't even sleep worried about them. You fasting and they eating. God said, in this season, buy the shoes because you want them. Take yourself on a trip. You got to do something for you because you poured out already. We're almost there. Now, I misspoke, and I got to go back, and then I'll be finished. There was an oversight on my part, and I take full responsibility for it. So I need to clean it up just to exonerate myself. So you didn't think I didn't do my due diligence. I said to you, ladies and gentlemen, that in the unlikely event of an emergency, your survival goes up, hear me, based off of what seat you sit in. I told you how that you've got to apply oxygen to yourself first. God help me. There's a critical part in the stewardess flight attendant's remarks that I forgot to give you. According to FAA regulations in America, there cannot be an aircraft, hear me, that can go up in the air, watch this, without an emergency row. There's got to be one row on every plane that even if everybody else goes down, there's got to be one row, watch this, that's prepared to break the door down. So that everybody else, God help me, who's riding is going to find a way of escape. I don't know y'all like that, but I came to find out which row is the emergency exit. God said, if I can just find one row of radical worshipers, every person connected to you is getting ready to find a way of escape. If you're sitting on an emergency exit, would you shout like you're kicking a door down? Like every